Hello, and we're back again with Report to the Principal's Office by Jerry Spinelli. We left off in chapter 19 where Sunny is starting to have some real feelings. She's still angry, but her feelings are starting to change. We can see that she's having a change of feelings inside. She's very angry. She's mad at the hamster. She's mad that it's cute. She's mad that she's starting to care about it. So I wonder what's going on inside. There's like a storm brewing. It's a different storm though. Let's keep on reading in chapter 20. For the most part, Lips Hummelsdorf was satisfied, even pleased. Counting today, Wednesday, only 2 days of practice remained, and yet he felt confident they would do it. The rubber bands were lagging, but he would have them up to speed by Friday. The washboards and drums were coming along. The kazoos were better than expected, and the buckets and spoons, well, they lent his music a surprisingly primitive power. Only one question remained. Would he become the first bandmaster to direct a whole school, or a whole school minus one? Miss Weiler, she of the sunny disposition, she was still refusing to bang the cymbals, and still threatening to be the only student in the audience. He feared she meant it. As he worked with the soda bottleists that day, coaxing a mournful, flute-like note from them, he noticed that Miss Weiler was not only her usual sullen self today, she was also something of an island. The chairs directly before and behind her and the chair to her left were all unoccupied. Only the mop boy, a trombonist, sat near her. Within the next minute, 2 students slipped away into seats even farther from her. I wonder why. Below the bottomless note, he sensed an undercurrent of whispers, from which erupted an occasional cough or muffled squawk. Another student moved. Something like a tide was receding from Weiler. Suddenly, a kazooist popped up and staggered to the back of the room, his hands to his face. Hummelsdorf wandered a step into the now vacant space around Weiler and Mott, and then he knew why. Her shoes were off, and he knew, without asking, that it wasn't for lack of soap. It was deliberate. She did it on purpose. She had won. Weiler, he thundered. Out! Principal's office! Now! Out of that space, Sunny padded down the hallways in her stocking feet, holding her breath as best she could, taking in air through her mouth in tiny sips. Along the way, 1 teacher, 2 teachers left their blackboards, took a look, took a whiff, and shut their classroom doors. Later that day, a number of students would report to their parents that a skunk had been loose in the school. As Sunny approached the office, she slowed down. The hamster house. Something was different. Wrong. She brushed up to it. The screen was off. Leaning against the tank, the hamster, Humphrey, was gone. Moments later, Sunny was in the office, hysterically telling Mrs. Wilbraham and Mr. Brimlow what had happened. They hurried out to see for themselves, leaving Sunny alone in the office. She looked down. Her shoes were on her feet. She could not remember putting them on. The principal made announcements. He wasn't after punishment, he said. If you took the hamster, just put it back in the tank when no one was looking. No questions asked. Accusations flew. 6th graders accused 7th graders of hamster napping. 7th graders accused 8th graders. Everyone accused the nickelheads. The nickelheads gestured innocently and pointed out that the animal itself could have nudged the cover off and climbed out. The usual Wednesday lunch meeting of the principal posse was replaced by school-wide search. In the cafeteria that day, several seventh graders recalled the sign propped in front of the tank, looked at their hamburgers and screamed. After school, Sonny gave the tank its usual Wednesday cleaning. There was no need for the tennis ball can. Tears came to her eyes as she looked at the lobby wall above the tank. A sixth-grade English class had tapped a dozen sheets of paper together to make a banner. It read, "Humphrey, come home." The school was locked up and closed down at 9 that night. The hamster house was still empty. Poor Humphrey. I wonder who took him. Hopefully, we will find Humphrey in chapter 21. See you there. Bye.